Hello everyone, this is Miss Xiao. Today I'll be doing a sharing with regards to conversion of units. Since primary school, primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, you will have learned about different types of units. Units of length, units of volume, time, so on and so forth. So when we want to convert unit from one type to another, it involves changing from a smaller unit to a bigger one and a bigger unit to a smaller unit. Let's take a look at the various units. So if we were to look at the units of mass, we will have kilograms and grams. The conversion between kilograms and grams is that for every 1 kilogram, it will be 1000 grams. Length, you will have learned about centimeters, meters, and kilometers. 1 kilometer can also be written as 1000 meters. 1 meter can also be written as 100 centimeters. Volume. Volume comes in liters, milliliters, and centimeters cubed. Some people, some books call it cubic centimeters. So the conversion would be for 1 liter, it is equals to 1000 milliliters. And if I may also add on, 1 liter is equals to 1000 cubic centimeters. So we can say that 1000 milliliters is actually equals to 1000 cubic centimeters. Following that, we move on to the units of time. For time, we have seconds, we have minutes, hours, days, months, years, so on and so forth. Well, 1 minute can also be known as 60 seconds. 1 hour, 60 minutes, 1 day, 24 hours, 1 month. It really depends on which month it is. It could be 28 or 29 days in February, 29 days in particular for a leap year in February, 30 days, or even 31 days. 1 year has typically 365 days, whereas a leap year would have 366 days. You might want to take a screenshot or a print screen of this page so that you are familiar with the various conversions. Now I'm moving on to conversion of units. Let's take a look at the questions over here. Find the equivalent measures of the following. So how do we go about solving questions like that? Let's take a look at each question. So for question A, we are asked to do a conversion between both units, day and hours. So we have to ask ourselves, which is the bigger unit? Well, day is the bigger unit. So we have to ask ourselves again, 1 day, how many hours does that give us? So 1 day, we will have 24 hours. Instead of 1 day, now I'm going to replace the 1 by 5 out of 6 days. Now, how would I find the number of hours given 5 out of 6 days? So I will have to ask myself a question. How do I multiply 1 such that I get an answer of 5 out of 6? So 1 times 5 out of 6 will give me 5 out of 6. So I multiply 1 by a factor of 5 out of 6 to give me 5 out of 6 on the left hand side. In the same way, I will do the same for the right hand side. So I will take 5 out of 6 multiply by 24. we'll do the usual multiplication of a fraction and a whole number. So 24 is 24 out of 1. We do a division between 24 and 6. Both numbers divide by a common factor of 6. 6 and 6 makes 1. 24 divided by 6 gives you 4. So finally, 5 times 4, we get 20 hours. So 5 out of 6 days is actually 20 hours. Now let's work out B. So for B, we are looking at the units of meters and centimeters. The bigger unit is meter. So 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters. This is the basic conversion taken from the previous page. Now, instead of 1 meter, now I'm going to replace the 1 with 2 out of 5. So 2 out of 5 meters means that I need to multiply my 1 by 2 out of 5 to give me 2 out of 5. In the same way, I'm going to do it on the right hand side. I take 2 out of 5, the same factor, multiply by 100. And from there, should be able to work out my answer. I divide both sides by 5, and my answer will be 40 centimeters. So there goes my answer, 40 centimeters. Working out C, 5 out of 12 minutes equals how many seconds? So I'm doing a comparison between minutes and seconds. Minutes being the bigger unit. So 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. Next line, I replace the 1 by 5 out of 12. You would have guessed that I would have taken the 1 multiplied by 5 out of 12 to give me 5 out of 12, right? So let me write it one more time. I times 5 out of 12. And I do the same for the right hand side. Instead of just 60, I take 5 out of 12 times 60. And from here, I'm able to work out my answer. "25 seconds. Let's move on to D. So D, I'm looking at the conversion between liters and milliliters. So 1 liter equals to 1,000 milliliters. Instead of 1, I'm replacing it with 7 out of 25 liters. So on the right hand side, I take 7 out of 25, multiply by 1,000. Divide by 25, I get 1. And 1,000 divided by 25, I will get 40. So 7 times 40, 280 milliliters. Moving on to the last 4 questions. Now I'm dealing with mixed numbers. 2 and 2/3 years equals to how many months? So I'm doing a conversion between years and months. 1 year equals to 12 months. So 2 and 2/3 years, I replace the 1 by 2 and 2/3. And guess what? What do I multiply my 1 by to get 2 and 2/3? I multiply it by 2 and 2/3. So in the same way, on the right hand side, I multiply 12 by 2 and 2/3. Let's recall how to multiply fractions. 2 and 2/3 is a mixed number, so we change it to improper fraction. And from here, we are able to do a multiplication. So we end up with 32 months. For F, let's take a look. 3 and 4/5 kg equals to question mark grams. We are doing a conversion of kilograms to grams. Instead of 1, I'm replacing it with 3 and 4/5. So I take 3 4/5, multiply by 1,000, convert 3 4/5 into improper, simplify, and there goes. G, I'm doing a conversion between kilometers to meters. So 1 km equals to 1,000 meters. 5 and 9, 10 kilometers will be 5 and 9, 10 multiplied by 1,000. So that will be 59 out of 10 multiplied by 1,000. That will be 5,900 meters. Lastly, let's take a look at H. H will be 8 and 7 out of 12 hours converted to minutes. So we have 1 hour being 60 minutes. Replace the 1 by 8 wholes, 7 out of 12. Pardon me. So I take 8 wholes, 7 out of 12, multiplied by 60. Convert the fraction, the mixed number, into an improper fraction. 8 times 12, 96. 96 plus 7, 103. Simplify. So 515 minutes. So that will be a conversion of between a bigger unit to a smaller unit. Okay, now we'll move on. Now in this question, you have compound units. So on the left hand side, you have a fraction and it will be all under 1 unit. And question wants it to be converted into 2 different units. Now, you realize that all of them, all the numbers given are mixed, right? And another observation is that you realize, for example, question A, 3 and 5, 6 minutes equals to question mark minutes, question mark seconds. The word minute, the unit minute, repeats. What is in the blank where minutes is concerned? It's actually the whole number. 3 minutes, 5 out of 6 minutes means that under minutes we have 3. Okay, so for all questions, let's put in the whole number together with the unit that matches it. Okay. Now, what are we left with after placing the whole number in the blank? We are left with this. What are those red squares implying? Basically, if we refer to A, we are asked to basically convert 5 out of 6 minutes into seconds. Isn't that what we are being asked to do for the previous question? So just a recall, we're looking at minutes being converted to seconds. So we got to write down the initial conversion. 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. Instead of 1 minute, I'm going to replace it with 5 out of 6 minutes. And I multiply 5 out of 6 with 60 to get the conversion. "50 seconds. And therefore, I will place 50 over here in the second blank. Similarly, I will do the 5 out of 12 hours and convert it into minutes. So between hours and minutes, we're looking at 1 hour, 60 minutes. So 5 out of 12 hours will be 5 out of 12 times 60. So do a cancellation, it will be 25 minutes. So 4 hours, 25 minutes. Looking at C, we are looking at a conversion between meters and centimeters. So 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters. 3/5 meters would be 3/5 multiplied by 100. So we do simplification, 60 centimeters. D. 1/4 liters equals to blank milliliters. Let's do a conversion between liters and milliliters. So 1 liter equals to 1,000 milliliters. What about a quarter liters? That will be a quarter multiplied by 1,000. That would give us 250 milliliters. For E, kg to grams, 1 kg equals to 1,000 grams. 7 out of 8 kg would give us 7 out of 8 multiplied by 1,000. You'll get 875 grams. Finally, let's take a look at kilometers to meters. So we have 1 kilometer equals to 1,000 meters. Here we have 3 out of 8 kilometers. It'll be 3 out of 8 multiplied by 1,000. That would give us 375 meters. Yeah. So I hope that this short explanation of how conversion works will be something that is helpful to your practice. Goodbye.